Today we are with Jarosław Serafin, who is the director of the History Museum in Sanok, and he is going to have a walk with us into the Museum of BEKSINSKI. Hello, Mr. Serafin.
Hello, and great to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us in this museum. We really appreciate. We really like to hear all the things what you are going to say. So maybe first of all, you can tell us about BEKSINSKI and his life in Sanok, and also we can have a walk in the museum.
That's great. It will be my pleasure to introduce it to you. Right now we are in the chamber called Sanok's chamber, which represents the pieces of art created during the Sanok period, which finished in 1977 when BEKSINSKI, together with his wife and his son, moved out to Warsaw. So it is all crowded with paintings, but also with sculptures, as you can see, and other creations of BEKSINSKI. And it is also filled with many interesting photographies. I think I should start by showing those photos of a house, of the original Sanok's house of BEKSINSKI. As a matter of fact, 5 generations of BEKSINSKI's family lived in this house, and they contributed so much to Sanok's society, to the history and culture of that town. And on the photo we can see Jarosław together with his only son, with Tomasz, playing or posing next to the well in the courtyard of the house. The house was eventually destroyed in 1977, as rulers of the town did not really like the construction. They wanted to destroy it, and then they had to move out to Warsaw. So we can divide his life and his family life onto 2 periods, the Sanok period and then the Warsaw period that would last for next almost 30 years.
Zacznijmy od tego, że ja nie za bardzo lubię w ogóle święta. To tak samo Wielkanocy, jak i Bożego Narodzenia. Po prostu święta jest jakby nie było alternatywy. Sklepy zamknięte, znajomi nieosiągalni, trzeba pójść do rodziny, trzeba się obejrzeć, czego nie znoszę, bo moje upodobania gastronomiczne kończą się jakby na McDonaldzie. I co jest powyżej McDonalda, to mnie po prostu nie smakuje. Tam jakieś ryby i inne straszne rzeczy trzeba jeść. Wobec tego ja po prostu świąt nie lubię.
Jak spędzi pan tegoroczną Wielkanoc?
To jak zwykle. Ubierę ubranie robocze i zacznę malować, tylko tak, żeby nie drażnić sąsiadów.
A to z takimi pięknymi polskimi tradycjami wielkanocnymi, na przykład malowanie jajek, stukanie się, czy kaczanie jajek, jak robiono w Wilnie.
Stukanie to ja strasznie nie znoszę. To znaczy właśnie to chyba mnie najbardziej w świętach łamania opłatkiem, dzielenie jajkiem i tak dalej. To znaczy to, co podobno straszliwie wzrusza wszystkich rodaków, to mnie zawsze stawia w pozycji zażenowania. Ja przede wszystkim nie lubię obcałowywania rodzinnego, a poza tym coś, co ma już scenariusz gotowy i ja jestem tu tylko aktorem, ja oczywiście zawsze zagram tą rolę bardzo pięknie, to w zasadzie zostawia mnie chłodnym, zażenowanym i niechętnym.
I think we should start with one chamber that shows the very first steps of BEKSINSKI as an artist, because before he succeeded as a painter and he gained a fame as a famous painter and original painter in 50s during his study period in Krakow, and then later after coming back to Sanok, he was involved in photography, in artistic photography. From his childhood, he was interested in photography. As a 10-year-old boy, he was given a camera by his father, and it was actually 1939. So then, after a few months, German soldiers entered the town, and BEKSINSKI, maybe because not really realizing the danger, he started to following German troops, taking photos of German soldiers, of tanks. And somehow he created incredible and really giant history archive of photography from the period of wartime. And then after another years, when he started studying architecture in Krakow, this interest came back, so he started creating really incredible photographies. Originally, he was interested and fascinated by new realism in photography, but we may surely say that he went through every single important trend of the artistic photography in the 50s and became one of the most original photographers, not only in Poland, I think, also in bigger scale. And he gained fame. He was no longer anonymous. He started existing as an artist, and I could indicate some works very famous. Surely this Sadist Gorsey is very famous. It was shocking photography. It shows his interest in sadomasochism, actually, because in the 50s he realized that he had this kind of tendency, only maybe internal tendency, but yet this photo was shocking. He did not graduated from an artistic school. He graduated from architecture. So
in Krakow, yeah?
In Krakow, exactly, yeah. After coming back to Sanok, after 3 years of work as an architect in Rzeszów, he started working here in Sanok in the factory of buses, so-called Autosan. Initially, he was designing, maybe better to say, designing buses, but all of them were too modern, so they were absolutely unacceptable for the factory, and eventually he was degraded to something lower, and it was a job that did not give him any satisfaction. We cannot really say that this period of work would somehow develop his artistic skills, but we have to say, because some colleagues of him still remember that he was using all the free time to make some exercises, to draw, to create something, so maybe just for that reason. He was not really a religious figure, yet he was creating crosses for all of his life, and the motive of death, of time-lapse, of confronting with death, would become one of the major driving forces in his art. So it is something really closely connected with all of his art, with paintings, with graphics, with sculptures as well. From the middle of 50s, he was somehow focused on, he was dreaming of becoming a painter, but in social realism of Poland, in those difficult conditions of life, it was difficult to get any tools. So he was asking his friends, especially Jerzy Lewczyński, his friend and also partner when it comes to photography, to provide him with some tools, with brushes, with paints. Those works, they show this period. Mr. John Sweeney Johnson, who was director of Guggenheim Museum those days, and he was completely impacted by those works, so he invited Beksinski and he offered him a grant in New York from Guggenheim Museum. And yet, somehow Beksinski refused this incredible offer. Yeah, he rejected this offer, explaining that he was a bit tired with that kind of art. He would like to seek for something else, for another means of expression. And we have to also add that he was, for all of his life, he would be scared of traveling in general. So he could not, imagine going across the ocean to start something new.
Proszę pana, czy jest pan typem wędrowcy, czy raczej domownika? domownika, roślinno-doniczkową. To znaczy wytwarzam w sobie jakieś takie przekonanie, że gdzieś mniej więcej w okolicach Grójca zaczyna się czarna dziura i cała reszta jest światem wyobrażonym, a właściwy świat to istnieje tu, gdzie ja siedzę. Przedtem to było w okolicach Sanoga, teraz jest to w okolicach Warszawy. Gdybym mieszkał w Nowym Jorku, to sądzę, że nigdy bym nie wyjechał poza Nowy Jork. Po prostu nienawidzę podróżowania.
Środek świata jest tam, gdzie ja jestem.
Tak, właśnie tak to wygląda.